We're here with Dan Amboyer, who is well known for his theatrical roles, but has also done some episodic work on television and was also in the William and Kate movie. Why don't you talk a little bit about your background and what brought you here to New York?
Okay. Well, it started a long time ago. Actually, I got my first professional job when I was 8. Back in, I'm from Michigan, originally, Detroit area. So my family went to go see Christmas Carol every year when I was a kid. So the first year that I ever went, I was like 7, and I saw all these kids on stage, and I loved what they were doing. It was a really cool production, actually, design-wise.
Okay.
I thought it looked like a lot of fun, so I submitted a kind of fake resume, you know, and they called me the next year, and I auditioned and got that, and just kind of been on the roller coaster ever since.
So it's something that you've obviously wanted to do since you were younger.
Yeah.
What were, when you first started out, did you know you wanted to do theater as your primary passion?
Yeah, I mean, where I came from in Michigan, there wasn't TV or film or any of that kind of thing, so theater was my focus, but I also did everything in theater. It wasn't just acting. I built sets and did everything. Ran whiteboards and sound, and I kind of actually really enjoyed all that stuff too, and I think it gave me a well-rounded sort of education, you know, going into it.
And what made you make the move from Michigan to New York? Was it for a part?
Yeah, actually, well, I went to a boarding school for theater too. I went to Interlochen Arts Academy in northern Michigan, and then from there I went to Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh and studied acting and musical theater, actually. And from there we had a showcase in New York. It was New York or LA, and I felt like I was trained the most for theater over TV or film, so I wanted to start there. And so I came to New York directly for a showcase and signed with an agent and did all that kind of stuff. So.
And what did you find the biggest adjustment was when you came to New York?
Well, you know, in school you're kind of guaranteed parts and that kind of thing, and I knew it would be a lot of hard work coming into it, but there's just so many actors, so much to choose from that you really have to fight your way to the top and keep yourself up there too. And I kind of feel like there's no such thing as momentum, that you kind of just have to keep putting yourself out there and finding new ways to get noticed, to get seen, and keep climbing the ladder.
So you just returned home from the Old Globe Theater. What was that like performing there?
It was great. It was a theater I've always wanted to work at, and it was actually with a director, Adrian Noble. He's a guy who he used to be the head of the Royal Shakespeare Company in England, and I would see his shows on tour when I was a kid. I was like 13, 14, and would see his Richard III and a lot of his work. So it's always been a personal goal of mine to work for him. So it was a great experience to be out there, and I did 3 plays in repertory for I was out there for about 6 months. So it was great. I learned a lot doing work with him.
And now you also have done regional theater. Do you like doing theater where you're moving around the country? Do you like being set in one place for 6 months? Do you like being based in New York, or do you kind of like a little mixture?
I've really enjoyed my time going down to the theaters. I worked in like Boston, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, you know, all over the country, going to different places. Utah. There's such unique personalities, I think, to each part of the country. I think being a young actor, it's fantastic to get to explore your country a bit and see what's out there. It's a great way to do it and get paid to do it. So I love those opportunities.
And now you have, like I mentioned earlier, delved into some episodic work in primetime and worked on the William and Kate movie. Why don't you talk a little bit about those experiences and the differences of what it was like for you primarily working in theater, jumping into those arenas?
Yeah, I think one thing that I had always heard going into film and TV is that there's so much time. Like if you're shooting a film, there's so much time. And I learned that really isn't the case. Like in theater, I really appreciate the rehearsal period now, because that doesn't exist in film and TV. Like when I was doing the William and Kate movie, there was no rehearsal. Everything was shot from our first take, and if they could use it, they did. And sometimes I only had 1, 2 takes after our rehearsal. So I really had to be disciplined going into the process and rehearsing myself almost, and using my friends and whatever I could to make sure I was prepared to go into that. But I think that's what I've really learned is the difference is the amount of time. If you're shooting a lot of scenes in a like TV or film, but you gotta know what you're doing.
Yeah.
When you arrive at set.
Is there a stage role that you haven't tackled yet that you're really dying to?
I love all the Shakespeare plays. I mean, that's something I've always loved. So I'd love to do them. I'd love to do like Prince Hal and Henry V, or Love's Labour's Lost. It's a favorite. I don't know. Otherwise, I love doing new plays. It's something really I want to focus on now because I've done so much classical theater. I'd love to do some newer stuff now, I think.
Do you have a comfort level that's higher when you're doing a musical or a drama? Do you find?
I haven't done a musical in a while, but I've been auditioning a lot for like the Glees and the Smash and that kind of stuff. So I still keep that active, on the back burner. But if a new musical comes along, that would be great. I'd love to do that. And, we'll see what happens as far as that goes. I leave it open.
Yeah. Now, what are you looking to do in terms of, while you're back in the city? I know you're working on a fundraiser for Hurricane Sandy victims. Why don't you talk a little bit about what you're working on now?
Yeah, I'm doing. I've been working on some fundraiser stuff, and kind of I like to keep myself active, even in the creating work side of it. I'm also a founding member of Exit Pursued by a Bear. It's called EPBB Youth Theater, and it's this great company. We have a space over in Hell's Kitchen, and a lot of my friends from school, and like Billy Porter came there with us last year, and Jeff Woody did Hedda Gabler with us too. And so we've been having some great people come to work with us, and 2 of our productions transferred to the Flea. So I love doing stuff with them. We've done all these new plays, so it's been great.
And now, what advice would you give to somebody who's just starting out in the industry?
I'd say the first thing is training, education, and I think it's not so much just about the name. I think the branding does have some effect, where you come from, I guess. But I think the group of people that you surround yourself with, find people that are really passionate and who have a strong work ethic, and try to keep up with each other. I have great friends from my class still, and from doing shows that I keep up with, and we help each other on auditions. And I think if you have a great network of people, that's really important.
Do you find it important also to keep working with them on projects?
Oh yeah, it's something so great when you can come back and work with people that you've been with before. I've had the opportunity to do that a few times now, and there's just an immediate connection. You don't have to kind of develop, and it's there, and you can start with that and grow to something really special sometimes.
Great. Thanks so much for taking the time to do this, Dan.
Of course. Thank you for having me.